Beautiful night for baseball. And live from Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs. The Dodgers get ready for their 10th exhibition game of the 2016 season. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner and Rick Monday. Well, the Dodgers begin with an injury report, and their number one prospect, Corey Seager, came out of the game in the third inning yesterday, injured the knee, an MRI this morning. They were fearing the worst, but actually they got all in all pretty good news.
Well, the good news is it's going to be a week, maybe 2 weeks at the outset. I saw Corey about 2 hours ago in the locker room moving around, not limping on that knee, but walking very, very carefully. Ironically enough, he was standing next to Justin Turner. The good news continues with Turner. He has been out because of a little tweak himself. Had 6 at-bats in a camp game. He's going to return at least as a designated hitter on Monday in the game.
Alex Wood was supposed to pitch over in Peoria tonight in a split squad game against Seattle. Left forearm stiffness, so he has been scratched. Carlos Frias is going to pitch over there. Alex Guerrero, he's got a knee issue. Thought he was going to be back tonight as a DH. That's not going to happen.
There's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of time left. And a guy that had injuries in the past, Brandon Beachy, is going to start tonight, coming off of 2 different Tommy John surgeries. He's had 1 good outing. Might be a little bit chilly tonight later on, but he'll be gone by that time. But he starts tonight against the Cubs.
Dodgers and Cubs coming up. Lineups and first pitch right after this.
In a sellout crowd tonight as the Dodgers host the Chicago Cubs here. And for the Dodgers, their 10th game of the spring as Abels get set to go. It's going to be Brandon Beachy tonight getting his start for the Dodgers. Second outing that he's had for the boys in blue. And it's going to be Trevor Cahill on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. The first night game of the spring. As a reminder also, we will join you tomorrow at 12:30 with a pregame show. First pitch at 1:10 from Salt River Fields in Scottsdale against the Rockies. And a reminder also on the West Coast, set your clocks ahead 1 hour tonight. And make sure you do not miss us tomorrow at 12:30 from Scottsdale. The Dodgers, a record of 5 wins, 2 losses, and a couple of ties. Do the numbers mean anything? No, not really. And that will be also voiced by Joe Madden, the manager of the Cubs, who brings on his Cubbies with a record of 2 wins and 8 losses so far in the spring. The Dodgers with a lineup tonight. The Carl Crawford will lead it off in left field. Batting second and playing in center, Jock Peterson. Yasiel Puig bats third, playing in right field. The designated hitter, Adrian Gonzalez. Chase Utley will get the start at third base. Doing the catching, Austin Barnes. Cody Bellinger will be at first. At shortstop, Charlie Culberson. Micah Johnson will bat in the 9 position. He will be at second base. And Beachy, as we mentioned, after 2 Tommy John surgeries, will be on the mound against Chicago. The Dodgers in the background taking the field. And the umpiring crew tonight. Brian Knight will work the plate. He'll call the balls and strikes on the bases. Quinn Wolcott, Adam Hamari, and Ben May will be on the base pass. So the Dodgers will continue on. And tonight it is expected to get a little bit of chilly. So both the dugouts, the Dodgers in their third base home dugout, also wrapped up in some jackets. They're expecting temperatures maybe to get down to 48 degrees later on tonight here in the Valley of the Sun. For Beachy, began last year on the disabled list. Made 2 starts when he finally came back, and then was sent down to AAA. And as we mentioned before, he's had 2 different Tommy John surgeries and coming back in fine fashion so far in the spring. Kershaw tomorrow against Jordan Lyles in that matchup. Dodgers against the Rockies. And for the Chicago Cubs, they have plenty of players. Both of these teams, by the way, played split squad contest. In fact, the Dodgers just about set to go over in Peoria against the Mariners as we speak. The Cubs already had a game earlier today. Chicago, no shortage of players. They have 68 players in camp. 35 of those are pitchers. So for Joe Madden, last year's National League Manager of the Year, has plenty of people to pick from. And for the Cubs, coming off a 97-win season just last year. So they will have a full contingent of players, including at the top of their lineup. It'll be Ben Zobrist, Addison Russell, Chris Bryant starting, Miguel Montero, and then the host of other players that will fill in. But they bring in 4 regulars, and they are really at the top of their lineup. We're all set to go. Sellout crowd here at Camelback Ranch, Glendale. The lights are on, and there is somebody home, Charlie. It's going to be sellout and standing room only.
Everybody's home. It's the second consecutive sellout for the Dodgers, who sold out the joint yesterday afternoon against the Angels, and tomorrow the Dodgers will be over in Talking Stick facing the Colorado Rockies. So the Dodgers are on the field, and Brandon Beachy with much to prove, not only to the Dodgers and make sure that that Tommy John surgery, surgically repaired for the second time, is okay, and more importantly, inside his own head and that right elbow. And here comes the first pitch of the game to Ben Zobrist, who takes high and away, 1 ball and no strikes. Beachy, 6'2", 220. He's 29 years of age. And so the Dodgers hoping that he is healthy, and they're certainly going to need him this year as he delivers a strike. And it's 1-1. Well, with Brett Anderson gone for months, 3, 4, 5, we'll all find out together when he comes back. But in the meantime, there is a glaring vacancy sign in the Dodger rotation for that number 5 spot. Here's the 1-1, high and away, 2 balls and a strike. Injun Ryu, of course, he's gone at least until sometime in May and perhaps beyond. They don't know for sure. Zobrist 1 for 11 this spring. Beachy into the wind, and there's a high fly ball into right center field. That is well hit, and that's going to drop between Crawford and Peterson and arrive at the wall on 1 up, and Zobrist is aboard with a leadoff double.
Not as windy right now as the start of this ball game as it was earlier today. It was about 14-15 miles an hour from the west. That means here in the stadium it's blowing out a little bit towards left center field, but it's dropped off rather reasonable, about 5 or 6 miles an hour now.
But it's a chilly night, and of course when the sun goes down in the desert, it gets chilly in a hurry. Addison Russell stepping in. He's 3 for 12 this spring, right-handed batter. Dodgers have practically a shift on. Charlie Culberson is shaded toward second base from his shortstop spot, and Russell takes a strike. It's 0-1. Russell with a couple of home runs this spring. Defensively for the Dodgers, Carl Crawford deep in left, Peterson shaded toward right center, Puig straight away in right. Beachy set at the belt, no balls and a strike, and Russell takes inside and low, 1 ball, 1 strike. In the infield, Chase Utley, about 8 or 10 feet off the line at third. Culberson shaded towards second base at shortstop. Micah Johnson at second base, his heels on the outfield grass. And over at first base, Cody Bellinger. Now, Russell pops it up, right side. Bellinger taking charge. About 5-6 feet from the first base bag, makes the catch, and that's the first out of the first.
Yeah, during spring training or not, that's not an at-bat that you really want to be able to have. Leadoff double to start the game, nobody out there, and cannot advance the runner. One of the things the Cubs, Charlie, trying to improve upon this year, cutting down on the strikeouts. There was no team that struck out more than what the Cubs did last year, over 1,500 times.
Chris Bryant steps in, and Bryant with 26 home runs and 99 runs batted in last year, and he struck out a ton. Struck out 199 times. Led the league in that ignominious category and takes the ball low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Power hitter with the 26 home runs, 99 runs batted in. Walked 77 times. 1 ball, no strikes. Right-handed batter. Pops it foul off to the right and off the backstop. And it's 1-1.
Could move him around. He's a big man. Of course, you look at the Cubs with Zobrist, and he's in that leadoff spot. Jason Hayward has signed. He's not with them tonight. You got Bryant, you got Rizzo, you got Schwarber. He added Miguel Montero last year. Those are guys that can swing the lumber.
Here's the 1-1. Bryant swings and misses, and it's 1-2. Bryant 6'5" and 215. So Brandon Beachy. Dodgers knew what they were getting with that elbow. They were banking on the fact that he could get well on his own time and his own schedule. And now he is a much more needed commodity than he was a year ago. On 1-2, outside and low 2-2.
Might be the perfect time, too, for Beachy. We mentioned the 2 Tommy John surgeries he's had. Began last year on the 60-day disabled list. Came off the list early July. And for Beachy, he still throws in the low to mid-90s. Has an excellent changeup. That is a field pitch. And very rarely you're going to see a really good changeup in the first week or so of spring training. But Beachy has one.
2-2 with Montero on deck. Chris Bryant, who struck out 199 times last year with a fly ball to center field. Heading on back is Jock Peterson, and he will make the catch. A couple of steps in front of the warning track in slight left center field. Well hit. Bryant is retired. Zobrist goes to third. 2 out. Miguel Montero coming up.
It magnifies the at-bat by Addison Russell. That the leadoff double could not advance the runner. That was plenty deep enough even to get us in from third base, as deeply as that was hit.
Miguel Montero steps in. Montero off to a good start this spring. 7 out of 13. Couple of home runs and 3 doubles. Cubs are 2-8 so far this young season. Preseason, Dodgers 5-2-2. Now with 2 out, Montero, who over the years, especially when spent most of his salad days there in Arizona, has made life miserable for the Dodgers.
And he's enjoyed every minute of it.
1 ball and no strikes. And with 2 out, he takes inside and low, blocked nicely by Austin Barnes, back behind the plate tonight.
We're talking about the power of the Cubs. They have the second most among teams in Arizona with 16. The White Sox have 20. But the Cubs have really come on strong. The last 4 games collectively, they've knocked 10 balls out of the ballpark.
That's the good news. Bad news is they're 2-8. 2 balls and no strikes to Miguel Montero. Inside and low, 3 balls and no strikes. Jorge Soler is on deck. And then Javier Baez.
Montero's got to be swinging if he likes to pitch 3-0. He's the DH at spring training. You're not going to give him the take sign.
Montero last year 248 with the Cubs, 15 home runs and 53 runs batted in. Now the 3-0. Montero takes a 4-pitch walk. It was high. Talking to Dave Roberts this afternoon for a time. He's talking about Beachy, and he was saying that, right now the ball, as they say, is coming out of his hands rather easily. But at this point, command and control are an issue, as well you would expect.
That's why game situations are so important, and this is the second start that he's had.
Jorge Soler steps in. Solid year last season. 262 with 10 home runs, 47 runs batted in. Slow start this spring. Swings and misses at a breaking ball. That's a good looking pitch from Beachy, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, and it comes at an opportune time too, because I tell you what, if you're the hitter, as Soler is here, you saw the previous guy walking 4 consecutive pitches. You're looking dead red fastball. First pitch, didn't get it.
No balls and a strike. First and third, 2 out. Soler, chopper to third. Chase Utley will throw to second base, a short play to get the force out, and that'll end the inning. So Utley, of course, going to see some time at third base this year, and Justin Turner's got his knee issues that are slowly getting better. No runs, a hit, and a walk, and 2 men left. No score after the first half of the first. The veteran Trevor Cahill, who had quite a journey last year. He appeared with 6 different teams, including 4 minor league clubs. Braves, Dodgers, and Cubs, among others. And then he found his way when he got to Chicago late in the year, out of the bullpen. And he was a very good middle reliever. Made 11 appearances and an ERA of just 2.12. Carl Crawford leads off and takes a big hack and comes up empty. No balls and a strike. Crawford 3 for 12 this spring. All 3 are, well, had 2 singles and a triple, in fact. So it'll be Crawford, Jock Peterson, and Yasiel Puig. Cahill misses outside, and it's 1-1.
Cahill, you hear hitters that will say he throws a heavy ball.
2 balls and a strike. And so his function with the Cubs is, I think, somewhat comparable to what Joe Blanton's function will be with the Dodgers this year. Middle relief. And a ball inside and low to Crawford. It's 3-1.
And what Madden likes about Cahill also is that not only in that middle relief role, if needed, they can count upon him for 3 innings.
As is the case with Blanton, who's scheduled to pitch tonight. And a ground ball to short on the second hop. It's picked up by Addison Russell. Throws across the diamond. Crawford is retired. First out at the bottom of the first. Now Jock Peterson coming up. Jock is 4 for 12. 1 home run, 1 RBI. Puig on deck. Gonzalez to follow. Then Utley, Barnes, Bellinger, Culberson, and Micah Johnson. Dave Roberts, of course, a rookie skipper. Peterson lays off the pitch, down and away, 1 ball, no strikes. The Cubs have the big shift on.
Well, this is a simulcast, and those that saw the picture and the very first pitch to Jock Peterson. You have the late kick again, not as high, but his weight was going towards the first base bag.
1-0 is a strike on the outside corner, 1-1.
Second pitch, the balance was there. The first pitch, there was no chance at all to hit the ball. Not when you're falling away from a pitch.
Albert Almora, the center fielder, is playing toward left center, so there's a sizable gap between him and right fielder Juan Carlos Perez. Call strike to Peterson, and it's 1-2.
That's a good curveball by Cahill right there. Started outside, came back and got the corner.
1-2 to Peterson. Takes inside and low, 2-2.
What I'm seeing so far with Jock Peterson, the balance is much better than what we saw Sunday over in Scottsdale against the Giants. And you see every day as Jock is buying into the new system now.
The 2-2 fouls it off to the left and out of play.
But there's a word that comes up: repeatability. How often can you repeat it as a hitter? The leg kick has changed. He starts with his front toe off the ground. The leg kick is not nearly as high as it has been. That ball was in on his hands a little bit more. The timing is still an issue. The balance is still an issue.
2-2. A slow roller to the first baseman. Baez picks it up, throws across his body with Cahill covering it first. They get Peterson. There's 2 out.
I watched Peterson also in batting practice today, and he looks so much more comfortable today in batting practice than what I remember seeing him 4 or 5 days ago, which is kind of norm in spring training. So with Peterson, he's on the right track. It's going to take a few more games. But every game, Charlie, we're beginning to see the pieces fall into place.
Yasiel Puig steps in. Puig is 4 for 11. That's 364 this spring. He has struck out 3 times in his 11 at-bats. It's a strike, and it's 0-1 to Yasiel Puig. Last year, just 79 games. That hamstring did him in. Takes inside and low, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Dodgers really need him to be an offensive force in the middle of the line. Here's the 1-1. Tried to check his swing, went through and missed. It's 1-2.
Yeah, off-speed pitch. So the first pitch was a bad pitch, a swing and a miss. Laid off the next pitch and then gets himself in a hole now, 1-2.
With 2 out in the bottom of the first and no score. Cahill stands on the first base side of the rubber. Takes too much time for Puig's liking. He steps out of the box. Now he's back in. And the 1-2. Cahill to Puig. Checks his swing, fouls it off to the right and out of play.
Yeah, some people may look and say, well, that's a check swing. Pitch recognition is one of the really difficult things for a hitter to begin to get into the fold in the early part of spring training. Pitch recognition. Is it a fastball, is it a curveball, slider? Picking it up at the release point.
The 1-2 to Puig. Grounded to short. Where Addison Russell picks it up, throws across the diamond, and the Dodgers go quietly in the bottom of the first. When we come back for the second, Javier Baez, Wilson Contreras, and Alberto Almoa going to bet. Chilly night in the desert as the Dodgers and Cubs get ready for the second inning. Brandon Beachy gave up a leadoff double in the first. A 2-out walk to Montero would get Soler to bounce to third to end the inning. So here's Baez at 4 out of 15 so far this spring with a home run, couple of RBIs. Takes high, 1 ball and no strikes.
Baez grew up in Puerto Rico. He has been hit with a pitch, and he has just an ear flap on his helmet. He has basically a portion that comes over in front of his mouth.
1 ball and 1 strike.
Signed out of high school, he was a #1 pick 5 years ago.
Hit .289 last year, 28 games at the big league level. Swings and misses, and it's 1 and 2.
How's this for his senior year in high school? All he hit was .771. He was 64 hits and 83 at bats, had 22 home runs, stole 28 bases.
That ain't fair.
You can't do that in T-ball.
Here's the 1-2. Fouls it off to the right and out of play. Of course, you talk about that face mask that protects him. Jason Hayward.
Jason Hayward has one, but it's flip-flopped.
Hayward, a left-handed batter, signed the big free agent contract with the Cubs.
Carlos Stanton with the Marlins. Basically a face mask has been applied to his. Don't know if he's going to change what he's had in the past.
Here's the 1-2. Grounded to the shortstop. Culberson picks it up and throws out Baez by a half a step. Wow, he run. That was a routine ground ball to short. The Dodgers had the shift on the left side of the infield, and Baez busting it out of the batter's box, and Culberson, who has been terrific so far this spring, makes the play.
Yeah, Baez last year combined for 19 stolen bases, 3 different stops. He was caught 5 times.
First base umpire Quinn Walcott with the emphatic punch out at first base. Wilson Contreras is coming up. Highly prized prospect of a catcher, takes a low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. But it is the job of Miguel Montero and the backup, the veteran David Ross. Time Dodger. Contreras, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, top half of the 2nd inning.
As a converted infielder, he was a third baseman. He also played the outfield a little bit.
Here's the 1-1. Outside and low 2-1.
Contreras, as we understand, gets a lot of walks. He also punches out a few different times. Receives the ball well and can throw it very well.
Well, he fits in with the Cubs. He can hit the ball and strike out some.
In the friendly confines.
They're an exciting young team, to be sure. Here's the 2-1. Fly ball slicing toward the right field corner. Puig on the run, and he can't get it. It bounces over the wall for a ground rule double. Puig had a long way to go and just came up about a foot short. Hit off the warning track and over the wall for the ground rule double.
That's a tough play. A lot of real estate to cover. That ball's hit right down the line, and if you continue and challenge it, you're going to do a face plant in that side wall. You have a little bit of foul territory here. Think of Wrigley Field all the way down the line. You have about 16 inches of foul territory, and then there's a wall.
An unforgiving one at that.
Well, there's thin padding, but it's brick on the other side of the padding at Wrigley Field.
Alberto Almora is the batter, right-handed hitter, takes a strike. It's 0-1. Almora 2 for 12, starting in center field tonight. That will be Jason Hayward's spot.
There's another #1 pick by the Cubs, 2012.
On 0-1, fly ball, right field, headed toward the corner is Puig. He'll make the catch, tagging, and on his way to third base is Contreras. Big Puig-like throw, but it was up the left field line. Contreras goes to third with 2 out.
Yeah, he missed third base by about 15 feet towards the left field corner.
So with 2 out, that'll bring up Juan Carlos Perez. Well, the ineptness of the 20th century in Chicago. Jack Brickhouse famously said anybody could have a bad century. Well, all those draft picks And under the nurturing, little bunt back to the box. Beachy will pick it up and throw out Perez. That'll end the inning. The Cubs are coming together, and they look like they're going to be a force for years to come. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left after an inning and a half. No score from Glendale. Third sellout of the spring here at Camelback Ranch, second in as many days or nights as the case may be. As the Dodgers and Cubs are scoreless, we go to the bottom of the second, and here is Adrian Gonzalez, who will be leaving the team later in the week to join Team Mexico in the World Baseball Classic. Mexico, a surprising loser in the last WBC, now in a qualifying round. And Adrian, the manager of Team Mexico, is his brother, Edgar. So Gonzalez boys are trying to get Team Mexico back in the saddle. No balls and a strike to Gonzalez, who takes low and outside, 1-1. Adrian is 2 for 10 with a home run this spring.
Has Fernando been working out recently?
1 ball and 1 strike. Fernando in years past has been the pitching coach for Team Mexico. 2-1 to Gonzalez with Utley on deck and Barnes to follow. Bottom of the second. No score. Dodgers beat the Cubs 4 out of 7 last year. 2-1 at Dodger Stadium. 2-2 at Wrigley Field as Gonzalez fouls it off, and it's 2-2.
Cahill just got the ball back from his catcher after Brian Knight, the home plate umpire, put a fresh baseball into play. And Contreras gunned it to Cahill, and Cahill looked down and goes, ouch.
The 2-2. Gonzalez with a fly ball to center field. Drifting on back is Almora, and he'll make the catch about 4 or 5 steps in front of the warning track. First out of the second.
A little bigger ballpark here than what is at Wrigley Field. The power alleys are 368 left center and right center at Wrigley Field. The difference is a lot of people overlook the fact that down the lines at Wrigley Field is 350 plus, and then you got a pretty high fence.
Now Chase Utley steps in, and Utley takes a strike, nothing, and walk. Well, the dimensions here in Glendale are larger than they are at Dodger Stadium. 345 down the lines here. 380 to the power alleys and 410 to straightaway center. Dodgers, of course, share this facility with the White Sox. There's a fly ball well hit to left center field. On his horse is Almora, and he can't get it. It bounces off the wall. On his way to third base now is Chase Utley with a sliding triple. He hit that one a ton.
Boy, good jump also by Almora in center field. A valiant effort to kind of stretch out, try and catch the ball. Good job by Utley. The ball was low and away from him. Almora comes over. He was about 3 feet from the ball. It was bobbled temporarily by Solar, the left fielder. And then Addison Russell, who was the lead cutoff man, bobbled it. Utley read it very well, winds up at third.
In conference with the Dodgers' new third base coach, Chris Woodward, the Cubs bring the infield in for Austin Barnes, who's had a very solid spring. 6 for 16 with a couple of home runs. A lot of territory between center field and left for Barnes, right-handed hitter, who takes outside and low. 1 ball and no strikes.
Contact spot right here. And Austin Barnes talked to him, says, I'm a contact hitter. I'm not a home run hitter.
1 ball, no strikes. And the pitch. Low and outside, 2-0. And Cody Bellinger is on deck.
Barnes, good numbers, AAA, 315, 9 home runs. So Cahill's gone back-to-back breaking balls, Charlie, in this at-bat.
On 2-0. It's a call strike, 2-1.
Yeah, keeping the ball away from him. I think Cahill's hoping that Barnes might try and pull the ball. That's where you get a pop-up, you get a ground ball.
Jorge Soler very deep in left. The 2-1 way outside and blocked nicely by Miguel Montero. Saving a run is 3-1. Forgive me, it's Wilson Contreras behind the plate. Montero is a designated hitter tonight.
Boy, he handled that ball well for a converted third baseman.
3-1. Cahill delivers, and Barnes takes low and outside, ball 4.
That was a terrific bat by Austin Barnes because he did not get over anxious. There's so many times I'll say, well, don't be in a hurry to hit the ball. And that's exactly what Barnes did. Did not go fishing at the first pitch. Cahill just try to keep going, breaking ball away, and Barnes is not fishing.
Well, here's one of the more interesting prospects in the Dodger organization, Cody Bellinger. 6 for 11 this spring. Has walked twice, struck out once. And Bellinger with an uppercut, swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. 6 for 11, that's a .545 batting average. And had a big year at Rancho last year with 30 home runs and 103 runs batted in. Left-handed hitter, slightly open stance. First and third, 1 out. Cahill delivers, swing and a miss. And it's 0-2.
Breaking ball took something off of it. It's a good pitch by Cahill going inside the left-handed hitters. Really, from a left-hander, you see that right-hander. The breaking ball that comes in and low is a little hard to lay off of. Bellinger, that uppercut swing, struck out 150 times last year, 128 games. Now, the question is going to be the uppercut. How does he handle? Haven't really seen the ball up and in on him yet.
1-2, first and third. 1 gone. Inside and low, and it gets past Contreras. On his way home is Utley, and he beats the throw. Now on his way to third base, and beating the throw there is Austin Barnes. The Dodgers take a 1-0 lead on the wild pitch.
In the first broadcast, the very first game, we talked about Dave Roberts addressing the fact during the offseason, looking at a lot of numbers. He said, guys, we have to change our base running. Dodgers did not run the bases particularly well. They were not that aggressive. Utley and a runner at third base, really on the base anywhere. You see the ball in the dirt, you anticipate a wild pitch. Utley gets an excellent jump. And then Barnes, stretching his legs, gets a good read. Dodgers get a run, and they still have a runner at third base now.
Count is 1-2 to Bellinger, and with Barnes now at third, Joe Madden brings the infield in. And here's the pitch to Bellinger. Inside and low, and it's 2-2.
Final word on that. That is such good and aggressive base running by anticipation. Always think the ball is going to be in the dirt. Always think you have a chance to advance one base, at least.
You know, it doesn't matter what job it is inevitably in the workplace. The personality of the office, in this case a ball club, is reflective of the boss. There's a 2-2. Bellinger takes a call, strike 3 on the inside corner. Don Mattingly, when he played, was essentially a station-to-station player. Didn't run a lot. Was a terrific hitter, sound fundamentally. Dave Roberts was always scrappy, always trying to find some advantage with his speed and his daring. And the Dodgers early on in spring are reflective of his personality.
Yeah, looking for an opening, and you do it with anticipation.
Now with 2 out, Charlie Culberson takes low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. We'll be seeing a lot of Culberson, I suspect, over the next couple of weeks. What with Corey Seager having had an MRI today, sprained knee. The Dodgers feel it could have been a whole lot worse. And there's another wild pitch going to the backstop, and coming in to score is Barnes. And the Dodgers take a 2-0 lead.
I was watching Barnes on his leadoff at third base. It was picture perfect to begin with. You're still taking steps. You're anticipating. You want the right foot to come down on the ground when that ball would reach home plate. But Barnes is edging off. As Cahill delivers, Barnes still takes another thing. And he was anticipating. And it pays off in good base running, really, here in the inning.
So the Dodgers with a couple of runs in and a 1-hopper to third. Culberson is going to be thrown out by Bryant, and that's going to end the inning. But the Dodgers come up with a couple of runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 2 wild pitches, and lead 2-0 after 2.
If the Dodge brothers walked in.
The Los Angeles Dodgers may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Dodgers.
Come celebrate the legacy of Jackie Robinson on Friday night, April 15th, when the Dodgers host the Giants at 7:10. And the first 40,000 fans in attendance receive an adult replica Jackie Robinson jersey, presented by Bank of America. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Top of the order for the Cubs in the top half of the third. Brandon Beachy out there and delivers a call strike, 0-1. Beachy through 2. No runs, 2 hits, and a walk. And that was just his 30th pitch. So to this point, he must be pleased with his performance. And the 0-1. Zobrist, who doubled to left center in his first at-bat, is now 1 ball and 1 strike.
Madden likes Zobrist, and you might have him in that leadoff spot. Low percentage of strikeouts. His 56 punch-outs last year, over 500 at-bats.
1-1 is a fly ball into left center field. And it's Carl Crawford calling off Jock Peterson. And Crawford making the catch, first out of the third. Zobrist, one of the game's elite utility men, but the Cubs see him as their everyday second baseman.
Well, they signed him to a 4-year deal.
Now a call strike, 0-1 to Addison Russell, who popped to first in his first at bat. The 0-1 on the way. Is under the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Beachy, a good outing right here. The leadoff double in the first inning, and then got 2 of the next 3. There was a walk and then a ground out as well. And in his 3rd inning in this game.
Here's the 1-1. And a pop foul over our heads, out of play. And it's 1-2. Russell won the job from Starlin Castro. Castro would be traded to the Yankees for a pitcher, Adam Warren, who we will see later tonight. One ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Beachy to Barnes. It's in the dirt. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Cubs went all in on free agency in the offseason. Jason Hayward, of course, was the big catch. Ben Zobrist as well, and John Lackey. Here's a 2-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Fastball upstairs of Beachy has turned in a solid 2 2/3 to this point.
Barnes moving inside and outside. That was a hanging breaking ball just upstairs, but Russell could not lay off of it. That breaking ball, from a hitter standpoint, it comes in, it looks like a beach ball. And when you swing and miss at it, that beach ball gets deflated in a hurry.
Oh, the humanity. Chris Bryant stepping in. He flied to center field in his first at bat. Crawford very deep in left. The ball in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. Jock Peterson shaded toward right center. Well, they just don't think that Bryant is likely to pull the ball to the outfield. Yet the infield has a shift on the left side. And Bryant takes up and in, and it's 2-0.
He's an interesting player. Bryant arrived in April. He did not disappoint either. 275, 26 home runs. And 1 RBI shy of the century mark.
And a fly ball into right center field. Puig taking charge. He's there, and he's got it. And Brandon Beachy retires the Cubs in order, and if his night is done after 3, it's been a good night indeed. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd. Now Brandon Beachy threw 11 pitches in the 3rd. 6 of them for strikes. 40 pitches, 24 strikes in 3 innings, and he and Rick Honeycutt are very happy with his work. Micah Johnson steps in. Johnson is 6 for 19. Joe Blanton is warming up in the Dodger bullpen. And so one would assume, in fact, Beachy's night is done. He walked a batter, struck out a batter, no runs, and 2 base hits. And a ball outside and low, 1-1 to Johnson. Long-term injury to Brett Anderson. Dodgers hoping somebody can step in to the fray, and Beachy to this point outstanding tonight. Trevor Cahill, 2 balls and a strike to Johnson, with Carl Crawford and Jock Peterson to follow. Hard ground ball, base hit into right field, past the diving Javier Baez. And for Micah Johnson, that's his 7th hit this spring in 20 at-bats.
Yeah, and he can run a little bit on top of it.
Johnson out of Indiana. Jose Vizcaíno is the first base coach tonight. George Lombard is, there goes the runner. Throw down to second base, and Johnson is out, and by a goodly sum.
I'll mention it, Contreras, a converted third baseman, has a strong arm, and he just showed not only a strong arm, that was an absolutely picture perfect location for the throw. That throw was right to the tag.
So Johnson caught stealing. He's out of there. 1 ball, 1 strike to Crawford, who bounced to short in his first at bat. Dodgers with a 2-0 lead, each team with 2 hits. Crawford takes a strike inside corner, 1 and 2. Trevor Cahill, middle reliever for the Cubs, starting tonight. Delivers high and outside, 2-2. He has found his way in Chicago in the middle of the Cub bullpen. Crawford with a ground ball to third, backhanded by Bryant, long throw, and Crawford is out by a step. 2 gone. Now Jock Peterson stepping in. Well, this Cub team, on paper, come opening day, will have Bryant at third, Addison Russell at short, Zobrist at second, and Anthony Rizzo at first. Rizzo not here tonight. And the outfield of Kyle Schwarber in left. Jason Hayward, naturally a right fielder, will start in center. And Jorge Soler is in right. Ball upstairs and outside, 1-1 to Jock Peterson. Cubs have the shift on the right side of the infield as Peterson swings and misses 1 and 2.
Swing continues to go over the right shoulder, which is basically another way of saying pulling off the ball.
The 1-2 swung on a miss, strike 3, and that will end the inning. So Peterson has been struck out. Dodgers, no runs, a hit, nobody left. We go to the 4th, and coming in for the Dodgers, Joe Blanton when we come back. job that Brandon Beachy turned in tonight. 3 innings, no runs, 2 hits, a strikeout, and a walk. Only 40 pitches, 24 for strikes. And Joe Blanton on in relief. 35-year-old powerfully built right-hander out of Tennessee. Seems to have found his groove as a middle reliever, not unlike Trevor Cahill, who has done a serviceable job for the Cubs tonight. Blanton now in his 12th year. He'll be facing Miguel Montero, Jorge Soler, and Javier Baez. First pitch from Blanton. The righty deals. High and inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Last year divided time with Kansas City and Pittsburgh. A big swing and a miss from the left-handed Montero. 1-1. Went 7-2 with 2 saves and a 2.84 ERA. 36 appearances, 4 starts. But he seems to have found a new home, not unlike Cahill. And a ground ball to first base. Fielded by Bellinger. Underhanded toss to Blanton covering, and that's the first out of the 4th.
Yeah, Blanton can serve a couple of different roles. He has a very streamlined delivery, if you will. Very clean. There's nothing complex about it. And it works for him in his 12 seasons.
So 1 out, nobody on. And Soler steps in, and the Dodgers are shifting on the left side of the infield. Micah Johnson about 4 or 5 steps to the third base side of second. They're deep on the left side as Soler fouls it back, and it's 0-1. Javier Baez on deck. Blanton came up with the A's in 2004. Then to Philadelphia. Dodgers, Angels, Royals, Pirates, and back with the Dodgers. Blanton into the line. Here's the pitch. Outside and low. 1 ball, 1 strike. We'll be back with you tomorrow, and like tonight, it'll be a simulcast. On radio, the pregame at 12:30. First pitch at 1:10. As Soler swings and misses at a breaking ball, 1-2. And Clayton Kershaw goes tomorrow against Jordan Lyles. Blanton on 1 and 2. Here's the pitch. Way outside. 2-2. I imagine the difference in mindset for a guy who used to start as opposed to where Blanton is now or Cahill. You don't have to worry about 4 different pitches. You got your fastball, your slider, whatever the secondary pitch may be, and you give them your A material.
Yeah, you don't have a whole lot of time to try and set guys up. You're going to see them 1 at bat, very seldom 2. The other thing too, every day you come to the ballpark as a reliever, you know you have a chance to be in the ball game.
3-2, 1 out. Pitch to Soler's outside and low, ball 4. As he trots toward first base, we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Dodgers radio network. Charlie Steiner, Rick Monday, coming to you from Camelback Ranch, Glendale, Arizona. We're in the top half of the 4th. 1 out, 1 on. Dodgers leading the Cubs 2-0. Javier Baez stepping in. He bounces short in his first at bat, squares the bunt, takes it back, low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Baez is the guy who hit 700 and something and
771 in his senior year in high school.
Here's the 1-0 on the way. Swings and fouls it off to the right. 1-1.
Scouts may have wanted to get the names of the pitchers that got him out. Sign them also.
I was mentioning earlier, the Cubs were so bad for so long. Then they started, well, they were always drafting high, but then they started drafting better. Here's the 1-1 outside and low 2-1. And slowly but surely the guts of this team, all young fellas. Bryant, Rizzo came over in a trade. He's not exactly a gray beard. Soler, Schwarber, Russell. And they got a couple of veterans, Hayward and Zobrist, in the offseason. Quick toss to first base. And Soler's back standing up.
The Cubs over the years, and I'm talking you going back decades, they've had some dismal drafts.
On 2-1, strike on the outside corner, 2-2 to Javier Baez.
Years and years ago, Don Kessinger, who was an all-star shortstop, made a comment to me. It was during a game, sitting next to Paul Popovich, who also played with the Dodgers for a while. He says, you know, he said it's been 11 years since the Cubs drafted a position player. They made it through the organization to the big leagues and stayed more than 1 year. 11 years.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, the Dodgers now have Seager, and the knee not as bad as first feared. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Baez down on strikes. There's 2 out. And with Cody Bellinger, well, he's got Adrian Gonzalez in front of him for the next couple of years. Those are the 2 really solid position players that the Dodgers have drafted. Dodgers certainly hoping that Jock Peterson can fulfill his potential and promise. Pitching has always been solid out of the Dodger organization. Now the hitter, Wilson Contreras, fouls it off to the right and out of play.
Dodgers also had another commodity last year that has not really been hand in hand with everything else. Defense. Fielding percentage, very good.
Two out. Soler's at first, being held on by Bellinger. Blanton set. Here's the pitch. Ground ball, base hit. Past a diving Micah Johnson into center field. That nearly got a piece of Joe Blanton. First and second, 2 out. So Contreras is 2 for 2.
Breaking ball, and it stayed up in the zone a little bit too long.
Charlie Culberson comes over and has a brief conversation with Blanton. Cubs first and second, 2 out. And Alberto Almora stepping in. Almora starting in center field with Jason Hayward taking the night off, and a ground ball to short. Nice easy hop for Culberson. Underhanded toss to Micah Johnson at second base. Battle in the inning. No runs, a hit, a walk, and 2 left. After 3 1/2, Dodgers 2, Cubs nothing. Right-hander Adam Warren is now on in relief as Trevor Cahill turned in 3 serviceable innings, 2 runs, 2 hits. But 2 wild pitches would cost him dearly. For the Dodgers, Beachy, 3 innings, no runs and 2 hits, and Blanton in his first inning of relief, 17 pitches, 10 for strikes. Hit a walk and a strikeout. So Warren, who came over from the Yankees in the deal that sent Starlin Castro to New York. Now, whether or not Warren will be with the big club, more than likely out of the bullpen this year. And the right-hander deals. Call strike, 0-1. Yasiel Puig leading it off for the Dodgers. And the Cubs essentially have a shift on for him. Now the second baseman, Zobrist, moves a step toward right, and there's a line drive, but right into the glove of the shortstop, Addison Russell. Puig is retired, 1 out, and nobody on.
Spring training or not, you got to hang with him. Line drive and nothing to show for it. Other than the fact you take back to the dugout, look, it was a pretty good swing, ball out away, stayed right on top of it.
Russell could not have been any more perfectly positioned. Adrian Gonzalez steps in. Gonzalez 2 for 11 so far this spring. Takes outside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. Adrian takes a strike. And it's 1-1.
Gonzalez grimaced a little bit. He knows that pitch hit the corner, but early in the count, you're not really worrying about hitting the pitcher's pitch.
1-1. There's a fly ball, well hit to right center field. But coming on over is Juan Carlos Perez. He makes the catch. There's 2 out.
For Lawrence, he's enjoyed so far the defense behind him. Adam Warren found out that he was traded from the Yankees a rather unique way. He and his wife were out of country. They were at a restaurant. They have a deal. They would turn off their phones. They were in a restaurant. There was a television that was tuned in to a sports ticker, and on the bottom crawl, he sees his own name. He's just been traded. Have a nice dinner.
Bon appetit, darling. Chase Utley takes a strike, 0-1. Utley tripled and scored a run in his first at-bat, starting at third base. Justin Turner is going to DH on Monday, we understand, and then have a day off on Tuesday. If all goes according to plan, he'll DH again on Wednesday, and by the tail end of next week, he'll start playing games on a nearly everyday basis.
Yeah, he had 6 at-bats in the Kent game earlier today.
1 ball and 1 strike to Utley. 4 for 13 this spring, and he lines one toward left center field. Is going to drop in for a base hit. So Utley is 2 for 2.
There are 8 guys in fair territory. There's 1 guy in foul territory behind you. And hit them where they ain't.
So with 2 gone, Austin Barnes steps in. Barnes walked in his first at-bat. Takes a strike, 0-1. On 0-1, a quick toss to first base, and Utley is back standing up. So, of course, all charges were dropped against Chase Utley, and that hard slide from the playoffs, 2-game suspension, was lifted without a hearing.
Oh, he'll hear it in New York.
Oh, 1-1.
He may feel it in New York. There was no intent to hurt anybody. It was just hard slide as the bright lights were on in postseason play.
Boy, were they ever. Here comes the 1-1. Barnes swings and misses. Throw down to first base, and Utley's just been picked off. Boy, that kid Contreras has some kind of throwing arm. He got a base runner. Micah Johnson attempting to steal. And now he picks off Utley at first. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. We'll go to the 5th. Dodgers 2-0.
During the Lex.
Joe Blanton beginning his 2nd inning of relief as we go to the top of the 5th. Dodgers 2 runs and 3 hits. Cubs no runs and 3. Juan Carlos Perez leads it off and takes a strike. It's 0-1. Top of the 5th is brought to you by the 2016 Chevy Silverado. Chevrolet, find new roads. Perez bounced back to the box in his first at bat. He swings and misses. And it's 0-2. Actually attempted to bunt and was thrown out by Brandon Beachy. Beachy, no runs, 2 hits in 3 innings. And here's Blanton in his 2nd inning of relief. Swinging a foul back to the screen. And the count holds at 0-2. Ben Zobrist is on deck. Addison Russell to follow. Blanton, the righty deals. Fastball outside corner, call strike 3.
Oh, a great location. Outside corner, just kind of tempting. So Blanton's come on and he walked the batter. Second batter he faced coming on in the 4th inning. This is picture perfect. Right there, Barnes was setting up outside and the pitch right to the catcher's mitt.
So 1 out, nobody on, and here's Ben Zobrist. Doubled in his first at bat, flied to left in his 2nd. Veteran switch hitter. Takes a ball, 1 ball, and no strikes. The 1-0. Tried to check his swing and went around half-heartedly. 1 ball and 1 strike, and a pitch down and in.
I hear your guy again tonight. There is a vendor that works a lot of the spring training games.
1-1. Zobrist swings and misses 1 and 2.
And
his throat sounds like he gargles with razor blades.
And he's the lemonade man. And he says lemonade, lemonade, like my grandma made.
What was his grandma? I don't remember my grandma making lemonade. But he's here. He's here early and often. And when he's not selling lemonade, he's got popcorn. And over the course of his career, he Hasn't missed too many meals. Looks like he eats some of his product.
And I imagine he goes through some throat lozenges too, listening to it.
Here's a 2-2 to Zobrist with 1 out and nobody on. Fouls it back and out of play.
Isn't it amazing though when you go around to the different stadiums, even during the major league season, but primarily in spring training, because the venue is smaller, more intimate. You can hear people and see people, but it is amazing. You see the same people
year in and year out.
Yeah.
Blanton misses inside and low 3-2. Who was the guy in Florida that used to wear that big orange dunce cap?
Orange, kind of an elephant.
Yeah.
He's still working the games down at Jupiter and at Port St. Lucie.
Zobrist on 3-2 takes a walk. Ball in the dirt, and it gets past Austin Barnes. So 1 out and 1 on. Not only was that a bad looking lid that fella had there in Vero down in South Florida, but it was ringed with perspiration stains. I mean, years of work went into that cap. It was so appetizing to get a hot dog from him. Yummy.
You waited to be upwind before you ate it, though.
Addison Russell takes high, 1 ball, no strike.
I don't think you wanted to be downwind.
Well, we have research more than you ever know. We just discovered the fella's name. Derek Moore, who was voted by somebody as a 2015 Major League Baseball best vendor.
Gets our vote.
Absolutely. What a rousing ovation. Known as the Lemonade Guy. Well, hopefully we'll get to hear him before the game is out. 2 balls and a strike. There he is. He's got his own T-shirt. The Lemonade Guy. Yeah. Just like Grandma made.
Has fun while he's doing it.
Yeah. 2-2 now to Addison Russell, who has popped to first and has been struck out.
You know, our crack research team.
All of
leaves no stone unturned.
Sometimes you wish they would. Addison Russell swings and misses at a breaking ball. He's been struck out for the 2nd time tonight.
Yeah, Addison Russell might want to order lemonade.
2 gone. And that's a 3rd strikeout for Blanton.
And a breaking ball down and away.
So with 2 out, here's Chris Bryant, who couldn't hit him a long way. Fouls it back, and it's 0-1.
His bat speed is just really something to watch. One of the things that you first notice, you see him on television, and when you see him in person, watched him at batting practice at Wrigley Field in Chicago, and you start to say, okay, fine. And bat speed, again, the definition of it is not related to how hard you're swinging.
The 0-1. Popped up into short right center field. Puig taking charge, makes the catch. The inning is over. A good inning for Joe Blanton. No runs, no hits, a walk and a man left. After 4.5, Dodgers 2-0. Guarantee your tickets to opening day with a 2016 Dodgers mini plan. Choose from games with great promotions featuring fan favorites such as bobbleheads and brand new retired number pins. Visit Dodgers.com/mini plans. First pitch. Adam Warren to Austin Barnes is fouled off to the right. It's 0-1. Barnes walked in his first at-bat and eventually would come around to score. Dodgers scored 2 runs in the second. A triple for Utley and a couple of wild pitches. So Barnes leads it off with Bellinger on deck and Charlie Culberson to follow. Two runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. No runs and 3 hits for the Cubbies. Barnes takes high and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Joe Madden in his second year as the skipper of the Cubs. Hard to top what he did last year. A 20-game improvement over the previous season. There's a fly ball to left field. And Austin Barnes has deposited one into the Dodger bullpen. His 3rd home run of the spring, and the Dodgers take a 3-0 lead.
Terrific swing and great results. So Barnes walked. Very good walk his first at bat. And this time he can walk around the bases. Hanging curveball. Doesn't matter if it's spring training or regular season. You hit the hanger. But he was able to stay back and hit against a very firm front side. You don't hit on top of the front side. Hit against it.
And the Dodgers lead by 3. And Bellinger on the first pitch after the home run bounces to third. Easily thrown out by Chris Bryant. First out of the 5th.
That home run swing, and the Dodgers, like all clubs, they videotape it. That's a picture-perfect swing for Austin Barnes to look at, to decipher, and hopefully lock it in. Oh, you don't get the hanging curveball all that often, but fundamentally, that was as clean of a swing as you could find.
As he was telling you, he doesn't consider himself a home run hitter, but he's got 3 this spring.
Hanging curveballs add some distance.
Charlie Culberson swings and misses. 0-1. Culberson is 7 out of 16. Chris Hatcher is warming in the Dodger bullpen. Joe Blanton's 2 innings were solid. Culberson tried to check his swing, but went around on a pitch that was in on the fist. It is 0-2. Adam Warren, second pitcher of the night for the Cubbies. On 0-2. Culberson swings and misses and has been struck out. Second out of the 5th. And the first strikeout for Warren. So Blanton goes 2 innings. No runs and a hit. 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Micah Johnson, who singled in his first at-bat, is now 7 for 20. Swings and fouls it off to the left, and it's 0-1. Well, it's getting chilly now. Dodgers and all the teams in the Cactus League have been blessed with near perfect spring training weather. 1 ball, 1 strike to Micah Johnson. Takes one down in the dirt.
Johnson, originally drafted by the White Sox, 9th round pick, 2012, out of the University of Indiana.
And he and Trace Thompson have been teammates and friends since 2012 on the south side of Chicago, and now with the Dodgers. Trace Thompson has had a Good first couple of weeks for the Dodgers here in Arizona. 2 out, nobody on. Dodgers 3-0. Johnson takes under the knees, and it's now 2-2. The other half of the Dodger squad in Peoria tonight. A ground ball comebacker, snared out of the air on one hop by the pitcher Warren. That will end the inning. Austin Barnes' 3rd home run of the year, and the Dodgers are up 3-0 after 5. Just fine so far this spring. Joe Blanton was better than fine tonight. 2 innings, no runs and a hit, 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. So Blanton's night is done. Chris Hatcher is now on in relief, making his 3rd appearance of the spring. I think he got over the new kid on the block jitters when he first came over to the Dodgers, and by the second half of the season he really rounded into form. First pitch from Hatcher to Miguel Montero is lofted to left, where Carl Crawford makes an easy catch. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Joining a new ball club takes you a while to learn all the different handshakes, and once you get that, you feel much more comfortable.
Well, of course, he's relatively speaking new to the pitching trade.
Yep.
He was Hatcher the catcher, and he's got a great arm, and he was part of the package that would send D. Gordon to the Marlins. Austin Barnes came back here. Hatcher did. Kike Hernandez. Jorge Soler, 0 for 1 and a walk. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out in the 6th. Dodgers 3-0. And Hatcher delivers a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Soler stands a long way from home plate. Normally you see a guy that stands that distance away from the plate, says dives into the ball.
Here's a line drive, but right into the glove of Charlie Culberson. Soler is retired. There's 2 out. So with 2 out, nobody on, Javier Baez stepping in. Baez has bounced to short and has been struck out. Shift is on for the right-handed hitter, and a call strike, 0-1. Micah Johnson standing almost directly behind second base, leaving only Cody Bellinger on the right side of the infield.
Baez spends a little time if he's writing his official name, his legal name. Javier Ednel Javier Baez.
There are two Javiers?
Two Javiers.
1 ball, 1 strike. Javi pops it foul behind the plate. Austin Barnes runs out of room. Dodgers with a 3-0 lead. Austin Barnes a home run tonight. And Chris Hatcher is the 3rd Dodger pitcher of the evening. On 1 and 2. High and in. And some mustard on it.
Just a wake-up call. Now does Blant go away?
On 2 and 2. Inside and low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hatcher on 3 and 2 with 2 out. Here's a pitch. Fly ball, right field. Drifting on in is Puig, and he's there to make the catch. And a 1-2-3 inning for Chris Hatcher. Nothing across for the Cubs after 5.5. Dodgers 3-0. Wednesday, April the 13th, when the Dodgers host the Diamondbacks at 10 past 7. 40,000 fans in attendance will receive an adult hooded sweatshirt presented by Bank of America. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Might like this. Sure come in handy. Carl Crawford leads off in the bottom of the 6th. Dodgers 3-0. Adam Warren in his 3rd inning of relief. Outfield straight away for Crawford, who takes inside, and it's 1-1. Jock Peterson on deck, Yasiel Puig to follow. Dodgers and Rockies tomorrow. Crawford swings and misses, and it's 1-2. It'll be a simulcast and on the radio pregame at 12:30. First pitch tomorrow is at 1:10. And Kershaw goes for the Dodgers. Crawford takes low and outside, 2-2. Dodgers with 2 runs in the second. And 1 on the Barnes home run in the 5th. Crawford swings and lines it off to the left and out of play.
Well, then on Crawford, he tried to pull in the right hand. Left hand came off the bat. He was a little bit tardy in trying to get the barrel through.
Luis Avilan is going to work in the Dodger pen. On 2-2. Crawford takes a call, strike 3, outside corner. So Crawford 0 for 3 tonight. Warren's second strikeout of the game. And Jock Peterson coming up. Jock has bounced to first and struck out.
Well, the last at bat, the weight was out in front, and it was over his right shoulder. And his weight carried him back towards the Cubs' first base dugout after the swing.
Peterson takes outside and low, 1 ball, no strikes. The shift is on the right side of the infield. And so only Chris Bryant on the left side. A 1-0. Peterson fouls it off to the left. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's a better swing, better balance right there. Still a little bit on his heels. It's a better swing because it was against the front side, the swing, instead of on top of the front side.
Fastball up and away, 2-1.
It's like golfers. You don't hit your driver on top of your front side. You basically hit it against. That's where you get the extension. That's where you get leverage and power.
There's a fly ball into left center field. Tracking it down with a good jump was Alberto Amora. And that's the second out of the 6th.
So Peterson, what you're hoping to have early in the spring, I felt you'd like to have 1 good at bat. 1 good swing. Well, that was something right there, a swing to build upon. And for Jock Peterson, trying to build upon it every day. A little bit different program as far as the overall approach.
Now Yasiel Puig steps in, bounce to short, line to short. And takes a ball inside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. $13,120 watching it tonight here at Camelback Ranch. Second consecutive sellout. A cool but comfortable evening. Little or no breeze to speak of. Puig fouls it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 out.
That's called a little late to the dance as far as the swing, and some of the Cubs were standing on the steps with real good views. But until that one scattered them around.
Too close for comfort. The 1-2 outside and low. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Yasiel Puig. Adrian Gonzalez on deck.
Hey, good seats, huh? Absolutely, until you get a screamer hit that way.
Puig grounds it foul toward the Dodger dugout down the third base line. Well, the railings and the netting in front of the dugouts, relatively new. Oh, look, a little less than 20 years ago when they started doing it. And Puig foul tips and that gets a piece of Wilson Contreras. So in your day, you really had to be on your best behavior in the dugout when somebody was batting.
But especially if you think of Wrigley Field before they had the barriers up in front. There was no way that you could get free and get out of the way. Captive audience in those dugouts.
Well, in those days, you sat in the dugout. There was no railing to lean over. Here's a 2-2. Inside and low, 3-2. Wrigley Field, like Fenway, like Old Tiger Stadium. One thing you didn't want to do in those old dugouts is stand up in a hurry. Here's a 3-2. Pop foul. And leaning in, Javier Baez tries to make the catch, unable to do so.
Yeah, just off the glove. Situation, a long run. You've got that rolled up tarpaulin that they use if by chance there's ever rain. And he did not go to the tarp to begin with and then look up. He made it a little bit more difficult of a play. Tough play, no question about it. But he's trying to find the ball, and then off the glove.
You ever whack the top of your head in the dugout either at Wrigley or?
Never did it at Holman Stadium in Vero Beach. Oof. There was no top of the dugout, remember?
The sky's the limit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Puig bounces to short, routinely thrown out by Addison Russell. That ends the inning. Nothing across. Will go to the 7th. Dodgers 3 and the Cubs nothing. Changes as we go to the top half of the 7th inning after Chris Hatcher goes an inning. Nothing across. And Luis Avilan is the new pitcher. Avilan, of course, came over from the Braves in that deal that brought Alex Wood over from Atlanta. Hector Oliveira went over there. And in the outfield now, a fellow who's ranked number 100 in prospects around Major League Baseball, Alex Verdugo. And Corey Brown takes over in right. So Peterson is done. Puig is done. And the Dodger outfield now consists of Carl Crawford in left, Alex Verdugo in center, and Corey Brown in right. And here comes Avilan's first pitch of the 7th. The hitter is Wilson Contreras. He squares to bunt. Takes a strike. It's 0-1. Contreras has had quite a good night tonight. Has shown off his throwing arm twice. Gunning down a couple of Dodger runners, and he's also 2 for 2. The 0-1 is a call strike, 1-1. Well, with Miguel Montero and David Ross, the backstops in Chicago. It appears as if Contreras is going to have to wait a year. Well, keeps hitting like this, he may not. Lines a base hit toward the right field corner, and he is on his way to second base, and he thinks momentarily about going to third, and wisely thinks better of it. So a leadoff double into the right field corner for Wilson Contreras, who's 3 for 3.
And second time he's hit the ball down the right field line for a double. Ball was up and out of the plate. Not a particularly good pitch. 0-2.
So he's had quite a good night, the young catcher. Alberto Almora stepping in. So Avalon gives up the leadoff double. The Dodger lead is 3-0. Almora 0 for 2 is flied to right and bounced to short. And gets a knee buckling breaking ball for a strike, and it's 0-1. Avalon set at the belt. And here's the pitch. Ground ball, right side, gets the job done. Picked up by Johnson, throws to Bellinger. Contreras goes to third. Nice piece of hitting. 1 out. Runner at third. And Juan Carlos Perez coming up.
Something the Cubs did not do in the first inning. A leadoff double by Ben Zobrist. Addison Russell failed to get the runner over. When you know it, the next hitter, Chris Bryant, hit a long fly ball to center field for an out, but not going to score from second on a fly out.
Perez
normally
has bounced out and has been struck out. Avalon set at the belt. Here's the pitch. Under the knees, 1 ball and no strikes.
For Avalon, his career, he has 197 innings. His earned run average is under 3.
1 ball and no strikes. And he delivers a strike. 1-1. And with J.P. Howell and Avalon, you got a couple of top-notch lefties out of the bullpen.
And some guys that could just move the ball around. J.P. Howell turns it over a little bit more than what Avalon does.
1-1. Utley even with the bag at third. Avalon deals. Line drive into center field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. So Juan Carlos Perez with a single to center knocks home Wilson Contreras. The Cubs are on the board. The Dodger lead is 3-1. And now here's the switch hitting Zobrist, who will bat from the right side. Kershaw tomorrow, and we'll be on the air at 12:30 for the pregame on the radio. First pitch at 1:10. Zobrist takes a strike, 0-1. Ben has doubled, flied to left, and has walked. He's going to be the Cubs' everyday second baseman. A lot of folks are thinking when he had become a free agent, is his real value being among the game's elite utility players. He wanted to play every day, and the Cubs said, well, come play second base for us. He swings and fouls it into the dirt. 1-2. Zobrist is just one of these really smart baseball players. He can play any position. Knows what to do in a given count, wherever the runners may be. Takes one in the dirt. Bounces past Austin Barnes and on to second base on the wild pitch is Juan Carlos Perez. Well, with the World Baseball Classic a year away, there's the play-in series. As a result, Adrian Gonzalez will go off and play for Team Mexico. They're trying to get back into the round of 16. Zobrist, a member of Team USA 3 years ago. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Avalon set. Eyes the runner. Here's the pitch. Looped into right field. And it's going to be caught by Corey Brown. That's the 2nd out of the 7th inning. So with 2 out, third base coach Gary Jones talking with young Mr. Perez. Cubs first base coach Brandon Hyde, and of course Joe Madden in his 2nd year as a skipper of the Cubs. Boy, who took Bedtown by storm last year. Addison Russell 0 for 3, 2 punch outs and a pop out. Takes a fastball for a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Dave Martinez is Madden's bench coach. And a pop-up into short center field. Sprinting in is Verdugo to make the catch, and that'll end the inning. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. 7th inning stretch. Dodgers 3, Cubs 1. MLB.com at-bat app. Stay connected all spring with radio broadcast, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet. Well, an old friend of ours, Stephen Fife, who's been with the Dodgers, is now on in relief for the Cubs. Give that funky delivery. Leg goes one way, back goes another, and the arm goes yet another. And somehow it gets there. So Fife becomes the 3rd Cub pitcher of the night. Signed a minor league contract with the Cubs in December. And of course, the last 4 years in the Dodger organization, having spent parts of 3 big league seasons in LA. Going 4-6 with a 3.66 ERA in 18 games, 16 of them starts. And as Madeline Kahn would say, he's a really nice guy. So you can't help it. Root for Fife. Adrian Gonzalez steps in, and this will likely be Adrian's last at-bat of the evening. Chase Utley is on deck, and Gonzalez takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Adrian, the DH tonight, takes a strike, and it's 0-2. Utley on deck, and then Austin Barnes. Fife delivers inside and low, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Gonzalez is flied to center and lined to right. Fife on 1 and 2. Inside and low. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, for Fife trying to really kind of carve an opening with the Cubs somehow. He said he was humble from the standpoint as the last year ended. He didn't really know if he was going to have a job. His second job, however, was bartending.
Gonzalez goes down on strikes, swinging and missing, and that's the first out of the 7th. So the Cubs have made some defensive changes as well. We'll pass them on as we get them. Chase Utley now with 1 out and nobody on. Chase Utley tonight has singled, tripled, and scored a run. Dodgers with a 3-1 lead, and Utley takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Fife, who also complete that thought from last year, didn't know if he was going to have a job. Really was not able to pitch, but he got healthy enough, went to the Winter League in Venezuela, did well.
1-1 is a strike on the outside corner, 1 and 2.
And he put it in perspective. You know, the economic situations in Venezuela, he says it's really hard to find items that we become, well, kind of blasé about. He goes, you know, deodorant and toothpaste.
1 and 2, low and outside, 2 and 2.
And as you said, one of the nice people when he talked to him. He's open. He's able to communicate. And understands that it's a privilege to put on this uniform and attempt to compete.
Utley fouls it off to the right and out of play. He's one of these guys who's had to work for everything he's had in his career. 2-2 is a ground ball to second base and a nice easy hop. Arismendi Alcantara is now in the game and easily throws out Utley. There's 2 gone. Austin Barnes is coming up.
Barnes would hope to get another hanging curveball that he did previous at bat. Hit his 3rd home run of the spring to left field.
Well, the thing about Barnes, it takes a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. He could do more than catch. He can play the infield some. Here's the 0-1. Fastball up and in, but he went around trying to get out of the way. And he's behind no balls and 2 strikes. Barnes has walked, scored 2 runs. As Mo mentioned, a home run in his last at bat. The 0-2 is high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fife on 1 and 2. Big rip. Barnes fouls it back. Count holds at 1 and 2. We'll pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Dodgers Radio Network. Fife on 1 and 2, and Barnes fouls it off to the right. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom half of the 7th inning. Dodgers 3-1. Charlie Steiner, Rick Monday from Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona. For the Dodgers, this is their 10th exhibition game of the young season. Fife delivers low and inside, 2-2. Cody Bellinger is on deck. Fife takes a big gulp of air. Now he delivers low and outside, and it's 3-2. When we come back for the 8th inning, we'll run down the health report of the Dodgers. Barnes swings and misses at a fastball up around the eyes, and he is retired. Fife comes in and retires a side in order and strikes out 2 of them. Nothing across. Will go to the 8th. Dodgers 3-1. Changes as Chase Utley and Micah Johnson head toward the clubhouse. Brandon Hicks has taken over at third base. And the Dodgers have a new second baseman who is proudly wearing number 0 without a name on his back. And Jamie Wright, 41-year-old Jamie Wright, is now the 5th Dodger pitcher of the night. Pitching's been solid this evening for the Dodgers. Began with Brandon Beachy, no runs, 2 hits in 3 innings. Here's Alcantara. Been all of last year at AAA. Left-handed hitter. No balls and a strike. As Wright delivers high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Jamie Wright, the number 1 pick by the Rockies, 1993 out of high school.
And the 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. His jersey and picture of him coming out of high school, his Rockies jersey, hangs proudly in the hallway just outside the broadcast booths at Coors Field. Now he's 41. Ground ball. Pass. Diving number 0. You have any idea who that is?
And number 0.
That much I got. And he didn't even. He didn't even get his name on the back.
He's not listed. Where's our crack research team when we really need him, right? I believe his last name begins with the letter T.
Mr. T?
No, but
another.
I think there's some other letters behind it.
Well, okay. Alcantara is aboard with a base hit into center field. And this is Jesus Guzman hitting. Welcome to spring training, boys and girls. What do you got on number 0? Nothing. Oh, I got something.
Our crack research team, I'm telling you.
Ball, no strike. Runner goes, a bloop single into right center field. Alcantara goes to third as Guzman bloops one to right center. And the Cubs have first and third and nobody out.
Perfectly executed hit run. The ball hit into the air, but the runner was going. That moves the infield. Brings the second baseman over.
And Jorge Soler steps in. Soler 0 for 2 and a walk. First and third, Dodger lead 3-1. We're playing in the 8th. And a call strike, nothing at 1 to Soler, who is 1 for 15 this spring, has only hit a home run. Bounced to third, walked in line to center. Ryan Dent is on deck. Outside and low. Jordan Tarzozovic is number 0. You were right. Began with a T.
Began with a T.
But you were a little short on the ARSOVICH. But all charity happily accepted. 2 and 1. There he is. You know, if you get number 0, you hope he requests it. There's a call strike. 2 and 2.
Well, you have to start somewhere.
Got nowhere to go but up.
Yep.
Have to ask Mitch Poole after the game. Mitch, of course, runs the Dodger clubhouse.
Mitch runs everything.
Yes, I was just going to say. Fouled off his foot. Soler stays alive. Jamie Wright at 41. Hanging on, hoping for one last season. Didn't pitch at all last year. Was in the Rangers camp and didn't make the cut. And never got a call from anybody else. Here's 2-2. Going outside 3 and 2 and talking about it with him the other day. He said, you know, look, I've had a wonderful career. He was able to spend summer at home with his wife and young kids. And you know, have like a July 4th picnic and all those things that ball players never do until they retire. And he was playing catch with his neighbor, Clayton Kershaw, over the winter. Right on 3 and 2. And Soler with a bouncer to third, and it just rolls foul before Brandon Hicks can get to it. In fact, you know, he was throwing the ball, had some good stuff, he thought. So did Kershaw. And if you get a recommendation from Kershaw, who starts for the Dodgers tomorrow, Wright wanted to come back, and the Dodgers are happy to have him. Now let's see if he can make it.
He's just a solid guy. 6'8". Again, the Rockies' #1 pick.
There hasn't been much in baseball he hasn't seen over the years. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. First and third, top of the 8th. Right set at the belt. And here comes the pitch. Runner stays put at first. We're going to foul off to the left and out of play. Kyle Farmer is now behind the plate for the Dodgers. They got Brandon Hicks at third, Charlie Culberson at short, Micah Johnson at second, Clay Bellinger at first. Farmer behind the plate. Pitch is low and inside, ball 4, and the Cubs have loaded the bases with nobody out. Carl Crawford in left, Alex Verdugo in center, and Corey Brown is in right. And now a pinch runner. So let's update you while we have a chance about the Dodgers and the wounded list. Ryan Dent with the bases loaded takes a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. Big story today, Corey Seager, as they said after the game yesterday, euphemistically, he tweaked his knee. Well, they were scared to death and they gave him an MRI this morning. And a call strike, 0-2 to Ryan Dent. And the MRI was a little prettier than they had feared. As is, he's going to miss a week or 2. And he'll probably wear one of those elastic braces for a time. On 0-2, Dent swings and misses. He's been struck out.
Yeah, good breaking ball.
And you saw Seager prior to the game today.
So he was walking around and he was going from the locker room into the training room, and not limping on the knee, but walking. I guess the best way to describe it, walking carefully.
So he'll be able to throw and hit. He's not going to run real hard for another week or so. Now the hitter is Victor Caratini. He's a backup catcher, and he is hitting for Wilson Contreras, who went 3 for 3 tonight. Bases are loaded, 1 out of the 8th, and the Dodgers with a 3-1 lead. So Seager, news could have been a whole lot worse than it turned out to be. And Caratini fouls it back. Now Alex Wood was supposed to start tonight over in Peoria against the Mariners. And when we arrived at work this afternoon, came to learn that Wood would not be able to go. Tightness in the left forearm. At least on day 1, the Dodgers are not overly concerned, but they were concerned enough to sit him down, and Carlos Frias would start over there tonight. Now right on 1-1 with the bases loaded. In the dirt, blocked nicely by Kyle Farmer. And it's 2-1. Howie Kendrick in the groin. Looks like he's going to be able to do some more serious stuff the early part of the week. Alex Guerrero was supposed to start and be the DH tonight in Peoria. But he was a game-time scratch. I guess the knee is not come around enough for him to play. Caterini swings and misses 2-2. You also saw Justin Turner today.
Saw Justin Turner. I heard him before I saw him, and I hope he's hearing this. He's smiling. He's going to designate a hitter position on Monday. He had 6 at-bats in a camp game earlier today. And I asked him, I said, was today the first day you've hit off of live pitching for a while? He said, no. I said, he'd been doing that 3 or 4 different times. So he's not that far back. They want to have him return slowly.
On 2-2. High and outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So according to the plan, Turner will DH on Monday. By the way, Kershaw's going to hit for himself tomorrow. Usually they play with DHs most of spring. Clayton wants to hit, and so he will. On 3-2 in the dirt ball 4. Jamie White walks in a run. It's now 3-2. Trying to go across the plate is Alcantara. Bases remain loaded with 1 out. And Kyle Farmer talking to Jamie Wright. Kyle Farmer's about half his age. And Rick Honeycutt is going to come on out and join the conference. Just as Farmer was leaving the mound to go back behind the plate, the pitching coach, the boss, comes out. So he turns to the hill as well.
Oh, whatever Rick Honeycutt has to say, Jamie Wright in his long career has heard just about everything. There's also dual purpose because it allows the bullpen to get warmed up just in case.
Alberto Almora is coming up with the bases loaded. Soler is at third base. Dent is at second. And Victor Caratini is at first. And a strike, nothing in 1 to Almora, who's 0 for 3. Fly ball, center field. Back goes Verdugo. He'll make the catch. Tagging and scoring is Jesus Guzman. Tagging from second and going to third is Soler. Second run for the Cubs here in the 8th. They've tied the score at 3.
This is also a classroom, Charlie, and for Verdugo in center, this is a spot that Dave Roberts may talk to him along with the other coaches. Is that he would have been better, I think, better advised to throw the ball to second base in case the runner at first had been tagging. Well, he threw it to third. The runner could have gone and advanced 90 feet. This is all part of the learning and the classroom part and things that you'll discuss not after today's game, but tomorrow morning.
Juan Carlos Perez grounds one to short. Picked up by Bellinger. Got a good arm. Throws across the diamond. Perez is retired. That ends the inning. But the Cubs the Cubs come up, he said, with 2 runs, 2 hits, and leave 2. After 7.5, we're tied at 3. Cody Bellinger will lead off for the Dodgers in the bottom of the 8th. against Stephen Fife. Sold our crowd tonight, 13,120. Crisp, cool, but comfortable evening as long as you got a sweater or a sweatshirt. Bellinger takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Cody's dad, Clay, had some time in the major leagues with the Yankees in 2000, 2001. He's kind of a utility player, but Cody's proven to be a fine-looking young first baseman. Big swing and a miss. 1-2. Got his money's worth on that hack.
He has a tendency to get a little bit long. I mentioned earlier a slight uppercut swing.
The 1-2 inside and low, 2-2.
But boy, he's been dazzling defensively. He handles the glove at first base, I mean, effortlessly. We've seen him dig balls out of the dirt, go to his right. Haven't really seen him go to his left yet at first.
The 2-2 pops it into short center field, and retreating is Ryan Dent, and the Cubs shortstop makes the catch, first out of the 8th. And here comes Charlie Culberson, one of the Achilles heels to the Dodgers, at least in the offseason, with Seager being the everyday shortstop. Who's his understudy? Well, we're about to find out. Culberson tonight has bounced to third and has been struck out and takes a strike, 0-1. Last year, of course, this time of the season, it was Jimmy Rollins' job. He was there to keep the seat warm for Seager. And Rollins would hurt his finger late in the year. Seager would get called up a little earlier than anticipated, and all he did was great. So now in the second week of spring, and he tweaks his knee, going to be out a week or two. Corey Seager. 1-1. Great diving stop by Jesse Hodges. His throw is low, and it gets past the first baseman Guzman, and on his way to second base is Charlie Culberson.
Wow, what a stop, first of all. Talk about lightning quick. They call it the hot corner for a lot of different reasons. Hodges just in the ball game. Just a sensational stop going to his left. Hanging curveball. Terrific stop, but the throw, not so good.
Hodges with the leaping line or diving catch on the one hop. Ball was past him when it reached his glove. But then the throwing error. Presumably a hit and an error. Now Brandon Hicks is stepping in, his first at-bat of the night. So the Dodgers with the lead run in scoring position with one out. Carl Crawford on deck. So Crawford playing the entire night. Tied at 3. One out, a runner at second base. Fife misses high and away, 2-0. Back on the air tomorrow. Pre-game 12:30. First pitch at 1:10. Pre-game on the radio 12:30. And then a simulcast tomorrow.
And remember those, it does not affect Arizona at all, but the clocks go forward tonight.
Spring ahead, fall back. 3-0 to Brandon Hicks. Taking all the way, fastball to the knees for a strike. And it's 3-1.
That was taking on his own. I doubt very seriously if he had the take sign there. Cat and mouse, because the catcher, as he putting up the signs, was shaking his head no. He wanted Fife to shake his head no and see if he could put a thought into the hitter's mind about, I know what you're going to throw, you know what I think you're going to throw, therefore we're going to. It's a cat and mouse game, and there are many catchers that'll give the signs of, hey, shake your head no to begin with.
On 3-1, Hicks awaits, takes a strike. 3-2. Over in Peoria, the other half of the Dodgers are in a 3-3 tie with the Mariners after 6 innings of play. And here we are tied at 3. The bottom of the 8th, there's a line drive base hit into left field. Rounding third, on his way home is Culberson, and he is safe. The ball is dropped by Caratini. Culberson was dead to rights, but Caratini could not hold on. The Dodgers lead 4-3.
Giussani's the left fielder, and he had the ball in his glove before Culberson reached the third base bag. The throw was on line. It was a low throw. There was a cutoff man, but a ball that should have been handled a little bit better. Yes, the throw was on one hop, but the catcher tried to get it with just the catcher's mitt, not with both hands.
Now Crawford steps in, takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Hicks went to second base on the play at the plate. And the Dodgers, who surrendered 2 in the top of the 8th, regain the lead with a run here in the bottom of the 8th. And Crawford takes a strike. That's why it's impossible to get a gauge on what a team record is in spring training, because the starters bear little or no resemblance to the guys who are replacing them. A ground ball to the right side, picked up by Alcantara. He throws out Crawford. Hicks goes to third with 2 out. Having said that, the Dodgers are 5-2-2 this spring, and the Cubs are 2-8. And it will not matter a whit in about 2.5 weeks. Here's Corey Brown, his first at-bat of the night. With Alex Verdugo on deck. Fife, the third Cub pitcher of the night. Inside and low, 1 ball, no strikes. Hoping that Brown gets aboard, only to see Alex Verdugo, a well-regarded Dodger prospect. There's a call strike to Brown, 1-1. Here are 2 professional baseball players. In the case of Brown, he's 30 years old and has been pretty much a career minor leaguer looking to hook on. And in the on-deck circle, Alex Verdugo is an up-and-comer. Or at least that's the plan. Brown takes low, 2-1. Dodgers 4 runs and 5 hits, and the Cubs 3 runs and 7. Now it's 2-2 to Brown.
Ooh. Brown just realized the plate could get real wide late in the game.
Closing time.
Last call.
Yep. Plate gets wider as the game presses on in spring training. Here's a 2-2. Inside 3-2.
It's an old adage too. The plate gets wider as the players get younger.
And the umpires get older.
Yeah.
By 3/8 of an inch?
Yeah, it's about 3/8 of an inch.
3-2, 2 out. And here's the pitch. Brown fouls it off to the left and out of play.
Fresh lumber is going to be found in the Dodger dugout.
Those bats are expensive, by the way. They're not just little disposable parts. Average anywhere between $60 and $100 a pop.
With no warranty.
No warranty and no guarantee.
Oh yeah, yeah. You get a 5 minutes or a 5 and 5 guarantee. 5 minutes or 5 blocks, whichever comes first.
On 3 and 2 inside and low ball 4. So we'll get a chance now to see Verdugo for the first time.
Verdugo's out of Tucson. As a senior in high school, he had already signed a commitment to attend Arizona State. But the Dodgers had him selected the second round.
Hit .311 last year. And the Dodgers have a fellow named Willie Calhoun on deck. Fellow we have not yet seen. Verdugo takes a ball, 1 ball and no strikes.
I have a feeling Mr. Verdugo gets up there, the place is going to get real wide.
Time zone wide. The 1-0. There's a call strike. 1-1 to Alex Verdugo.
Well, he was the Branch Rickey minor league player of the year for the Dodgers in that organization last year. Started in Class A and then late in the season to the advanced Class A team.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt. 1-2. Again, this pitcher hitter matchup. 2 players at other sides of the career seesaw. Fife just looking to hang on. And Verdugo's just trying to make his bones. Here's the 1-2 from Stephen Fife to Alex Verdugo. Fouled off to the right, out of play. One and two out. Hicks is at third. Corey Brown is at first. Fife delivers. Verdugo with a fly ball to center field. That's pretty well hit. And it's going to be tracked down by Alberto Almora in left center. But the Dodgers come up with a run. 2 hits leave 2. We go to the 9th. They lead the Cubs 4-3. Jamie Wright has been replaced by number 96.
Straight up trade.
Justin Richardson. One was righty, one was lefty. They're both tall and they share the same number. First time we have seen Justin Richardson.
Just watching him warm up, it's very interesting. He's got a good arm, good delivery.
It's the first time we have seen him. The Dodgers sporting new spring training caps this year with that scripted D. We'll go back to the LA once the season begins. And the first pitch is a strike, 0-1. Dodgers 4 runs, 5 hits. The Cubs 3 runs and 7 hits. Jesse Hodges is the hitter. Back with you tomorrow, the Dodgers and the Rockies, and Kershaw on the hill. Richardson, this is high and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Richardson, a big guy, 6'6", 220, out of Texas Tech University. Originally signed with the Red Sox, 2nd round pick, 2006.
So he's been around a while. Here's the 1-2. Fly ball, left field. And that's the first out of the 9th. It was Drew Maggs out in left field who made the catch for the Dodgers here in the 9th inning. And this is Cale Brockmeyer. No balls and a strike, 1 out in the 9th. And Richardson misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kyle Farmer behind the plate. On a night in which Austin Barnes got the start. And oof. Farmer took one straight off the mask. One and 2 to Brockmeyer. Line foul off to the right, out of play.
Richardson trying to stay healthy. On the disabled list 2 different times last year.
Brockmeyer, Cale, his first name, C-A-E-L. And Kyle, the Dodger catcher, Kyle Farmer. There's the 1-2. Just inside and low, 2-2. On 2-2, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Brockmeyer is done. And the Dodgers are not away from putting an end to this game in a 4-3 win.
Pretty good fastball right to where Farmer, the catcher, was setting up. Outside corners, a pretty good giddy up in movement. A big left-hander.
That would make it a farmer's market. 2 out.
It's late, isn't it?
A little short on Basil. Ball outside, a little 1 ball, no strikes. Alcantara, the hitter.
We went to lunch today, and they said we're out of basil. Someone ordered a caprese salad. The irony of it is 60 feet away, there's a farmer's market.
And so the waiter was really apologetic. Said, we're out of basil. And I don't know that I've ever heard that from a waiter before.
No.
But okay.
And I've never seen that look before either. I said, well, did you try the farmer's market? It's 60 feet outside the front door. It goes an entire block.
This poor waiter, his head spun when Mo said that with, huh?
Sorry.
Not 2-0. Outside of those 3 balls and no strikes. There's a farmer's market right outside.
Yeah, you don't have to drive. You can walk. You could fall that far.
So we're down to the final out, we hope. Dodgers 4-3. Richardson delivers a fastball for a strike. That is 3-1.
This is the out that everybody's been looking forward to since about 10 o'clock this morning.
Well, this is one of the, in spring, most of the games are daytime, so they arrive and do their pregame work. 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, play the game, and then they're. But today, everybody arrived at work as Alcantara takes a strike, 3-2. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then they'll turn right around and get back to work early tomorrow morning. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. Richardson to Alcantara. Lined into right field, a 2-out single. Corey Brown fields it and returns it to the infield. But there's a farmer's market right. You threw that poor kid for a loop.
I meant no harm. Just a question.
For which he had no answer, apparently.
Not today, he didn't.
Jesus Guzman with 2 out.
His head turned around like a parrot.
Anthony Giansanti is on deck. Justin Richardson, the 6th Dodger pitcher of the night. 2 out. Richardson misses high and away. 1 ball, no strikes. So Beachy goes 3 innings tonight. No runs, 2 hits, struck out 1, walked 1. 40 pitches in 3 innings. He was very solid. Joe Blanton, 34 pitches in 2 innings, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, no runs and a hit. Chris Hatcher, 9 pitches, 5 strikes in 1 perfect inning. Richardson misses outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Jamie Wright not quite so fortunate this evening. Gave up 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 walks and 1 strikeout. And Richardson trying to put an end to this game. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jesus Guzman. Fellow named Anthony Giansanti is in the on-deck circle. Now the 2-1 is on the way. Inside and low, 3-1. There is nothing doing in the Dodger bullpen. Now the 3-1. Fly ball left field. And a home run has been hit by Jesus Guzman. And the Cubs take a 5-4 lead.
And he got all of it. And a bat toss to boot. 3-1, not the spot that you want to be, and Guzman was going for the long one, and boy, did he ever get it. 3-1 pitch, right in the wheelhouse. Look at it, toss the bat, and take your time going around the bases.
Center cut, grooved right down the middle. Pop foul out of play, 0-1. Anthony Giansanti is the batter. Richardson comes in, retires the first two batters. Alcantara singles to right, and Guzman with a long distance home run to left. So we will play the bottom of the ninth. One thing notice this spring is that we've not played 10-inning games. If it's tied after 9, everybody goes home. Everybody gets a little participation trophy. Thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Giansanti. Well, at least on that home run, there was no doubt about it. I mean, no doubt about it. 1-2 foul back to the screen.
It was a return to sender, address unknown.
Not allowed to give him out.
And the Kitchens close at 10. Here's the 1-2. Grounded to the right side. And that'll end the ninth. Cubs on the Guzman home run. Take the lead 5-4. Last licks for the Dodgers when we come back. So we will go to the bottom half of the ninth inning. 2-out, 2-run home run by Jesus Guzman has given the Cubs the lead. Edgar Olmos is now on in relief to try and notch the save from manager Joe Madden. Olmos at AAA last year, an ERA of 3.5. Kyle Farmer is on deck. And this is the first time we have seen Willie Calhoun. In parts of the last 2 years, Olmos has pitched with the Marlins and the Mariners. In 199 minor league appearances, Olmos has a record of 16-38 and a 4.44 ERA. Calhoun hit .316 at the minor league level last year for the Dodgers. He swings and fouls it back, and it's 0-2. Justin Richardson was an out away from feeling pretty good about life its own self. And a single and the 2-run home run by Guzman. And the Young left-hander has been looking to hang on for a few years now. Leaves broken-hearted. Almost on 1-2 to Willie Calhoun. Breaking ball outside. 2-2.
Calhoun out of the University of Arizona.
Left-handed hitter. The 2-2 from Olmos. Way outside. 3-2. More than half the crowd of 13,120 have left. Now on 3-2, Calhoun takes high and away ball 4. A nifty little at bat.
Was drafted last year, made 3 different stops: Ogden, Great Lakes, Rancho Cucamonga. Had only 2 stolen bases over 73 games, but he represents now the tying run.
So here's Farmer. And Jordan Tardozevich is on deck. Farmer takes a strike, 0-1. Right-handed hitting catcher. Calhoun a short lead at first. Toss over and he is back. Thought about sliding and kind of eased his way in. No balls and a strike. Bottom of the 9th. Cubs with a 5-4 lead. Kyle Farmer, an 8th round pick of the dodgers in 2013. At Rancho last year at 44 games, he had 337. And then at Double-A Tulsa, he had 272. And he lines a base hit into right field. Calhoun will hold wisely at second base. He had a notion of going to third, but that would have been a Cardinal sin. So the Dodgers first and second, nobody out here in the bottom of the 9th.
Ball up and away. Farmer did a good job, not trying to do a great deal with it, but he took advantage of a little open right side, the runner being held at first base.
And here comes Jordan Tardozevich.
Went to Virginia Military Institute. 22nd round pick last year by the Dodgers. First team conference, and he can run. He had 24 stolen bases in 30 tries in collegiate ball.
Tardozevich with 3 home runs at the minor league level last year. So the tying run at second base and Willie Calhoun. Winning run Kyle Farmer is at first base. A bunt and a good one. So the runners will advance second and third. A perfectly executed bunt by Tardozevich. And Corey Bellinger comes up with second and third, 1 out. And a chance to be a hero.
A lot of things to really be happy about, and for Dave Roberts and his coaching staff. The Dodgers early in the ball game, very aggressive, anticipating as far as on the bases, and you have just a youngster that signed professionally last year, lays down a big bunt, and the runs are right there in scoring position.
And the infield is brought in. 5-4 Cubs, second and third, 1 out, bottom of the 9th. Bellinger takes low and outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Cody is 0 for 3 tonight. So Calhoun is the tying run at third base, and Kyle Farmer is a winning run at second.
Yeah, that's a spot you're trying to keep the ball off the ground, and for Bellinger, you might want to make sure that he maybe shortens the swing a little bit. Fly ball deeply enough can tie the game in the outfield, in particular in left field. Very shallow indeed.
And Juan Carlos Perez in right is deep. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fastball outside corner.
Later the night gets, the bigger the corners of the plate become.
As if
Bellinger just asking. Well, you're not going to turn around. Very, very seldom, if ever, do you turn and say, "Are you sure that was a strike?"
He may have asked, "What time is it?"
Yeah.
Infield in.
The answer to what time is it? Time to swing the bat.
Yeah, Bellinger steps out for a moment.
He's still trying to get that call out of his mind. Good move to back out.
1 ball and 1 strike. Now, the catcher, Caratini, is going to go out and talk with Olmos. And while they do, we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Dodgers radio network. Second and third, 1 out, bottom of the 9th. Infield in for the Cubs. Dodgers trail 5-4. Bellinger takes a ball in the dirt. It's 2-1. Charlie Culberson is on deck. Dodgers led 3-0 into the 7th inning. But the Cubs with a run in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, and 2 in the 9th.
Here's a big pitch right here. Almost does not want to go 3-1.
And here comes the 2-1. In the dirt. It gets past the catcher Caratini up the third base line. Not far enough for the runners to advance.
Good judgment by Calhoun.
Five runs, 9 hits for the Cubs, 4 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. Calhoun, the tying run at third base, and Farmer, the winning run at second. 3-1 to Bellinger. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Strikeout, a ground out, and a pop out. And here's the pitch. High and inside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
And Joe Madden makes a trip out to the mound, and he has already pointed to the bullpen.
So Madden is going out. And he is going to get the ball from Olmos. Pats him on the back, gets the ball. The change is made. We'll come back, tell you who it is. Bases loaded. Dodgers 5-4, 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. Frank Batista. And he comes in with the bases loaded and one man out. Bottom of the ninth. Dodgers, who surrendered a run in the seventh, 2 in the eighth, and 2 in the top half of the ninth inning, trail 5-4, but have a chance to get off the mat as Charlie Culberson, who is 1 for 3, steps in. Willie Calhoun at third base is a tying run. Kyle Farmer at second base is the winning run.
So for the runners, line drive, you're freezing fly ball. You're going to be tagging up. Make sure it drops in.
So here is Batista. Fastball low and inside. 1 ball and no strike.
Well, the first pitch we see Batista, that was a two-seamer, turned it over and pretty good sink to it. So he's trying to get right now a ground ball, a double play, and seal a victory for Chicago.
Charlie Culberson has other thoughts with the bases loaded. 1 for 3. Swings and next one foul near the Dodger dugout up the third base line. 1-1. Culberson, born and bred in Georgia.
Another spot too as a hitter. He's saying, look, keep the ball off the ground.
Culberson spent the last 3 years in the Rockies organization. Takes inside, 2-1.
A lot of movement on that pitch. It just kept coming in and in and in.
Culberson was a first-round pick of the Giants back in 2007. He'll turn 27 next month. Steps out of the box.
Yeah, catcher again shaking his head, wanting the pitcher to try and put a different thought in the hitter's mind.
Center fielder Alberto Almora shaded toward right center. A lot of space between left and center field. Culberson takes low and outside. Fattens the count to 3-1. Calhoun is at third base. Farmer is at second base. Bellinger is at first base.
Look for one right down the middle because Batista's missed both sides of the plate. He missed inside badly, and that time he missed outside.
3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out, bottom of the ninth. Batista set in the belt. Culberson awaits. Here's the pitch. Popped up foul, off to the right and out of play. 3-2.
Left fielder still playing very shallow.
Calhoun with good speed at third base is the tying run. Full count, 1 out. And the pitch to Culberson. Back foul, 3-2. Culberson about 6 feet, 200 pounds. An outstanding defender. We've seen that already. On 3-2. Here's the pitch. Inside ball 4. That ties the score. A bases loaded walk to Culberson. Calhoun trots across the plate. And the game is tied at 5.
And that ball missed in. Here's a spot too. Brandon Hicks is the hitter. You have a pitcher that's having difficulty finding the plate right now. Look for something right down Broadway. If it's not right there, take it. That first pitch.
So Hicks. Last year in Sacramento hit .220. Takes low. 1 ball, no strikes. Again, this is one of those games, the last 3 innings. Most of the players out there. are not likely to start the year at the major league level, so to determine a team's spring training record is folly. There's the 1-0. Hicks with a line drive down the left field line, but hooked and foul. It's the hardest ball Hicks has hit this spring.
And Bautista, that pitch looked like he was just trying to aim it, trying to find the strike zone.
Brandon Hicks is 30. A third-round pick of the Braves in 2007. Played collegiately at Texas A&M. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. A run in the bottom of the 9th. We're tied at 5, and here's the pitch. Way outside. Get the feeling that Bautista needs a new GPS. He's having trouble finding the plate. 2 balls and a strike. Kyle Farmer at third base is the winning run. Infield is back, hoping for a double play. The outfield is very shallow.
They're going to be able to catch the ball and throw out the runner at home.
Routine fly ball wins the game. Hicks takes outside. 3-1.
Again, look right down Broadway. Bautista knows he cannot miss the plate. He's going to aim it. And when you aim it, you don't have the velocity. You normally don't have the movement.
3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. Bautista set at the belt. Here's the pitch. Foul back. 3-2. Drew Mackey is in the on-deck circle. Bases loaded, 1 out. Bottom of the 9th. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul back. Hicks stays alive. Hicks in 126 major league games. With the Braves, the A's, and the Giants, a career 153 hitter. So again, Farmer the winning run at third base. Outfield is shallow. Routine fly ball wins the game. Here's a 3-2. Nearly hit him, and it did. And that's how the game will end. So the Dodgers win ugly, but they win nonetheless with 2 in the bottom of the 9th. Tying run on a walk, winning run on a hit by pitch. Dodgers 6 and the Cubs 5. But the Dodgers 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors. They left 5 men on base. Cubs 5 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. They left 9. Dustin Richardson wins ugly. Edgar almost loses ugly. A game that took 3 hours and 5 minutes. It wasn't pretty, but the Dodgers will take it. And that's going to be a wrap for us from Glendale. We'll be back on Sportsnet LA tomorrow afternoon. Dodgers and the Rockies. First pitch at 1:10. So for Rick Monday, Charlie Steiner saying good night from Glendale.